Alright, guys, so we're picking up from where we left off on Chapter 1, Part 1. Now we're on Chapter 1, Part 2.
How in blazes did you come by this, boss? Through a friend of mine in the military who owed me a big favor. I planned to fire it at City Hall someday, but I guess now I have to sell it to some Arab terrorists instead. It's the only way I can think of to safely replenish my severely depleted funds. You and I will dismantle this firecracker and ship it to the Middle East. We'll never get it out of the country, boss. That rock is going to be hotter than you are. Not to worry, Rupert, my lad. On paper, this cruise missile doesn't even exist. No one knows it's missing. It's another favor my military friend did for me before his untimely demise. You know, Rupert, in a way, I think things have worked out for the best. The time has come for me to make a few changes in my life. Crime hasn't been that good to me lately. I've been spending more time in Arkham Asylum than out. I've been seriously thinking of getting into a new line of work. Some endeavor where my special talents will be properly appreciated. Something like international politics. This baby ought to bring enough for me to buy into that game. Care to join me in the fast lane, Rupert? Sure, boss. Why not? Jason's into his third hour of walking, trying to let off steam. I wonder if he even notices where he's going. My guess is that he'll end up somewhere around his old neighborhood, Crime Alley. He might even find himself over by the old homestead, the apartment building he once shared with his now dead parents. If that happens, the memories will hit hard. It won't be easy for him, but it might be for the best. The boy's got a lot of sorrow to work out of his system. Her name was Catherine Todd, a good woman who probably loved her son deeply, only wanted the best for him. Willis Todd probably loved Jason also. Maybe that's why he drifted into crime, hoping to give his son a better life. The poor fool realized too late that those kind of shortcuts never pan out. Catherine Todd's life was cut short by a disease that just didn't care how much love she had in her heart. Jason's dad fell victim to a vicious gangster he was working for, Two-Face. That left Jason, an orphan, living in an abandoned home when I found him. Thought I had his best interests at heart when I rushed him into the training to be the new Robin. Guess you know what they say, the path to hell is paved with. You're Jason Todd, aren't you? Yes. Then come up here. I've got something for you. Hello? Come in. You were a friend of my mother's, Mrs. Walker, wasn't it? That's right. How have you been doing? Getting by. You kind of disappeared right after your mother died. Juvenile authorities were looking to put me in a state home. Didn't want to go. Can't blame you for that. But when no one claimed your family's possessions, the landlord sold them off. I was able to save the stuff for you in case you ever came back. Afraid it's a little water damage, darn leaky roofs. The owner's too cheap to fix them. Photographs, personal papers. Thought it'd be stuff you might like to have. This is terrific. How can I ever thank you? Ain't nothing. Now I gotta shoo you out of here, lad. Got shopping I gotta do. Now take good care of yourself, son.
Gaspar Taylor is a known associate of the Joker's. The address I have on file for him is a transient's hotel on the Lower East Side. We're in the money. We got a lot of what it takes to get along. Looks like I arrived just in time. Going somewhere, Gaspar. Almost forgot what fast reflexes he has. Guess I'm letting my worries about Jason get in the way of my performance on the job. You can't afford to get sloppy in this line of work. Might end up dead. That realization causes me to overcompensate. I take Gaspar down too hard. He'll be out for a few hours. I came here for information. I'll not be getting any from Gaspar. But maybe Gaspar's luggage will tell me a tale or two. A passport and a visa for Lebanon. Interesting. I spent the next few hours trying to track down more of the Joker's former former henchmen. No luck. They all seem to have disappeared. All vacationing in Lebanon, maybe. When I phone home at nightfall, I learn that Jason has finally returned. Alfred informs me that he went directly to his room requesting not to be disturbed. Photographs are a bridge to the past, black and white reminders of the way things used to be, links to those who are no longer with us, priceless treasures. The box also contained some of his parents' personal papers, a deed for an acre of land in Virginia, a lapsed insurance policy. Some of the papers are his own, old grade school report cards, his birth certificate, which contains a gut-wrenching surprise. There's his own name on it, Jason Peter Todd, just as it should be. There's his father's name, all correct and proper. The trouble lies with his mother's name. Jason's mother's name was Catherine, not S. something. Her last name's water-damaged, smeared, unreadable. S? Who? How? Why? It must take some time before he accepts the truth. As impossible as it seems, he finally grasps the realization. Catherine Todd wasn't his real mother, but then who was? How to find out the truth? His mother and father are dead. Can't ask them. Mother? Stepmother, a bitter realization. His real mother is someone he's never met, someone who may still be alive. There has to be a way to find out. I taught the boy to be a detective. He uses that skill. An address book. My father's address book. Look for women whose first names start with an S. There's 3 of them. Only trouble is these addresses have got to be several years out of date. How do I locate them after all this time? Of course, the computer in the Batcave. Well, it took me all night scouring the system, but I finally found all 3 women. Of course, my luck's running true to form. They're all currently out of the country, all in the Middle East and Africa, of all places. Charmin Rosen emigrated to Israel in 1982 and currently works for the Israeli Secret Service. Shiva Wusan, a lady with a shadowy past, suspected of being a mercenary, operating out of Lebanon at the moment. Dr. Sheila Haywood, working on famine relief efforts in Ethiopia. So what do I do now? Take what I have to Bruce? Ask for his help? No way. I know what he'd say. You are in no shape to be running off on this type of investigation. Besides, Bruce wouldn't care about finding my real mother. All he gets off is catching crooks. He probably wouldn't even understand why I'd want to locate the woman.